and welcome to another episode of Good Time Gal. I am your host, Caitlin Peluffo. Thank you so freaking much for tuning in this week. Really, it means bunches. Oh, the world is ending and you guys are still, listening to the podcast. I appreciate it. This week, we have Amy Miller. Holy cow. She's so funny. She's so great. She has an album out called Kill Rock Stars. She's one of the hosts of Who's Your God podcast, and you've heard her a bunch on Doug Loves Movies. She's been on Comedy Central. She's so funny. She's so great. If you're ever in the Bay Area or LA, you got to go check her out. She's on Twitter at Amy Miller. Same with Instagram. She's wonderful. And this was super fun. She also, just a little warning, she shit talks one guy in particular, so I have to bleep out his name because I'm not trying to get sued. All right? But that's who she is. She tells it like it is. You know what I mean? That's what I love most about her, is she is not afraid to say exactly how she feels. And God, this episode was so fun. Please enjoy it. Please follow her, follow me at Caitlin Peluffo on Instagram and Twitter, at Good Time Gal Pod on Instagram only. I ain't got time for Twitter, you know what I mean? And then rate, review, and subscribe the podcast. When you review the podcast, it really helps other people find it. It makes us go higher up in the algorithm, and it makes me want to continue to do this. So please tell your friends, spread the word. The holidays are coming up. Everybody's gonna want to be hammered. What a perfect podcast. You know what I mean? Anywho, thank you so much for tuning in. Please enjoy this episode with Amy Miller, and I will see you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye. Sure. So we can start. Here we go.
I'm ready.
You're ready. Amy Miller, everybody.
Yes, it's me.
You can't hear the round of applause, but it's there. I feel it,
In your heart and your loins.
In my heart and in cars and subways across America.
What do you think
parts
about
of
this?
Sweden.
What do you think about my hotel art? It's a nice butterfly.
That's a beautiful butterfly, and it looks like there's a little face in the middle.
Oh, God, are you on mushrooms?
Maybe, but it looks like it has double eyes. Don't you see that?
That's what butterflies look like.
Oh, butterflies are terrifying.
It's meant to scare off their predators.
Oh, what a practical butterfly.
Yeah, so they think it's the eyes of a larger creature, but really it's just a gentle little butterfly.
Beautiful.
Smart design from God, the Lord.
Good job, Jesus. Thank God. God is God.
Thank God for God.
Yeah. How are you? Why are you in a hotel room?
Well, it's pretty crazy. I'm doing a club this weekend.
Very fun.
That has all outdoor shows for the time being. It's currently raining where I am, so that's going to be fun. Mm-hmm. I may die of electrocution on stage.
Good. Good. I like to see that you're dedicated.
If
Beautiful.
I have a wired mic and it's pouring down rain. I don't know. It could be canceled. We don't really know. The whole thing feels very wrong, but I'm also excited to do stand-up.
Yeah.
Well, I agreed to it so long ago, in April, and we were like, it'll be over by then.
Of course, yes.
And it's home. I'm in the Bay Area, in the East Bay, so it's like, I think it'll be fine. I'm just like, why are we doing this? Kind of.
Yeah.
And then I want to promote it, but then I'm also like, don't come.
Yeah. Yeah, might not be best for you, but if you wanted to come, that's also fine. This is a judgment-free.
Yeah.
Don't come.
I am clean. So nobody's going to get it from the comedian because I get tested all the time, and I just got a fresh test. They'll get it and get it from each other. I don't know. It's not good, but it's outdoors, mask, distance, all that stuff. I don't know why I'm justifying it to you, but here's the thing.
Okay. Tell me the thing.
I got to work.
Yes.
Because we have rent to pay. And it's like, this is why they should just be fucking paying us to stay home. Because I can do 4 shows and, pay another month's rent.
Yeah.
Or I can, bartend, nanny, deliver food, and expose myself to hundreds more people and expose them to me. and also it'll take weeks to make the same amount of money.
It's so true.
So just I just have to do it, and I feel really lucky that it's even an option to tell jokes outside for rent money.
I recently had to do a joke fest for money, and it was this past weekend, and it was indoors.
No, that's
which
scary
made
though.
Me nervous, but it was. Do you know the Comedy Attic? And it was Jared, who is a huge stickler. So he had like an opening video that was like, if you don't wear your mask, I don't care if you think this is some snowflake bullshit. You got to wear it. Otherwise, you can leave right now. And it was like, whoa.
But they don't have food and drinks?
They do have food and drinks.
So they just like pull their mask down. I mean, it's crazy.
He did a whole example. It was like, do this, take a sip, put it back up. That's all you have to do. And then he had people monitoring like every section. And you know what? The good thing is I'm not a draw, Amy. I don't know if you know this about me.
A lot of space in between.
Space in between. There was a lot of airing out. No one was touching anybody. No molecules on anybody. You know, those 15 people were as safe as they could be. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do? You know, and it's the fact that the only business right now that gets to make money no matter what is landlords is just, it doesn't make any sense. Everybody should be on hold, you know? Yes. You don't get rent for a while if the fucking movie theater doesn't get tickets. So, you know what I mean? Like, everyone's got to struggle together. But nope, we got to pay this rent, and sometimes, we got to tell jokes inside, I guess. I know I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. But I'm not judging you.
No, it didn't feel great, but it also, compared to a lot of places that I've been to, it was definitely the safest place. And I was like, okay. And I've heard some horror stories. Like, apparently North Carolina does not give a fuck. And
Texas still.
And so I was like, okay, at least I know it's from the person who's running it, takes it very seriously, doesn't think it's a hoax, and is really trying to make sure everybody is safe and following the law. And I had to wear a mask on stage, which was nuts.
Oh yeah, I saw pictures of Nikki doing that there too. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do, Caitlin?
What can you do? What can you do? You can.
But I'm excited. I want to tell jokes. I haven't done an hour since March 12th.
So how do you feel? Are you excited?
I just have no idea what's gonna happen. But good thing is, I love crowd work. So. You know I do.
Oh, you can chat them up with the best of them, Amy
that'll
Miller.
Chop up the minutes.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I tell people. They're like, man, you do a lot of crowd work. That's great. And I was like, that's me trying to remember where I go. Trying to remember a joke. And what do you do for a living?
So psychotic that, I mean, people don't even realize how much we're like, you can have a full conversation and be doing... You're not even in this conversation. Yeah. It's just going without you. And then you're like thinking about trying to remember your jokes in the back of your head. It's wild.
We're doing full-on joke math right here, and you're telling us your life story, and we're like, no, please keep talking. Whatever you're saying, keep going.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. It'll probably be a lot of people I know, which is nice. So, you know, if anyone gets COVID, it'll be the people I love.
That's good.
So that's nice.
That's perfect.
And they'll know where they got it, which was at my show.
Yeah, and then you can never come back to the Bay Area again.
I think that this club is also taking it very seriously, and I think it'll be safe. I still am just paranoid about all the other parts. Like checking into my hotel, I'm like, hey, can I have a room that hasn't been occupied in a few days, you know? And even now, they're like, why? And I'm like... Oh, well, there's a virus. And, and you know, like, listen, if I was working housekeeping, I wouldn't clean in a mask. It just gets too sweaty. You know what I mean? You're telling me these ladies and gentlemen are keeping them on the whole time? No. So I'm picturing someone's just been in the room. They're huffing and puffing. There are droplets all over the place. And then I check right in early because you know I always get here at noon. Even though check-in's at 3. And I just get in my head about that kind of stuff. So I'm like,
Yeah, those droplets, they can land anywhere and they stay there and you don't even think about it. I go on full spirals where I just like have to pop in to do something for work at Home Depot and pick something up, and then I'm like, well, I touched this basket, I looked at the back of this box, I did this, I did that. You could really like just waste a whole day following yourself with wet wipes. Just
I know, but then I also keep hearing from people, and some of them I've known, who are like, I truly barely go anywhere, just the grocery store, and I always have a mask, and I always wash my hands, and then I just got it somehow. And I'm like,
yeah,
whatever. This isn't fun chat.
No.
Nobody wants to talk about COVID.
I love COVID, especially what it's done for my career.
Good.
But yeah, I needed things to come to a screeching halt to really assess.
No, we
whether
were
or not
both
I
on
should
a
go
rocket ship to stardom, and
Yeah, or at least to real estate. I was definitely going to go into real estate, and now I think I might. Anyway, I have known you for a while now. Yes, when we met.
When we made.
When did we meet? We made it.
Few years, I guess.
Yeah, I remember. This is a little fun story about you. We were at Hilarities. We were doing the
Accidental Comedy Festival. Very fun.
Very fun. I was very new. I was only like, I think, a year and a half or 2 years into comedy. And my friend happens to be a very large fan of yours. And and she told me, I can't believe you're there with Amy Miller. And then I got all in my head, and then you told me good set in a bathroom, and I ran away.
Oh, yeah, you were so funny. David Bory and I were watching your set from that back booth where all the comics just, like, sat and drank free beers.
Yes.
Those beers. Like, I think they only provided, like, microbrew for free.
Yeah.
So we were all just, like, full all weekend.
Full and gassy.
And sleepy. Yeah, and we were dying, and David and I both were like, who is this lunatic? And how fast can we be her friend?
And then you tried, and I ran away terrified. Oh, boy.
It all
You're really
worked out.
Very good networking gal. That's me. But what's also funny, they were giving out edibles for free to all the comics there. And that was I think the first time I ever had an edible, and I had a full brownie, and I hugged my backpack for 6 hours. I just sat in the back next to Amber.
Hold on one second.
What is going on, Amy?
My alarm's going.
What is happening? Jesus Christ. Oh, and
so
you're wearing
sorry.
pants.
Wait.
Good job. Was that
So
a reminder to tell you to do?
Not
was
very
that
professional of me.
Was that a reminder for you to do this podcast? Was
15 minutes late. No, it was a reminder to talk to my podcast partner about, it doesn't matter. But I set it for you know what? Do you do this? Just set alarms for random times. Like I have a lot of reminders to remember all the things I need to do and follow up on. Google Calendar, lists. But a lot of time I just like set an alarm like, hey, tomorrow do this.
Yeah,
Well,
that's good.
All gone now.
As you fling your phone towards the beautiful butterfly.
The hotel couch that probably has COVID on it.
Oh, that's a couch. You got a room with a couch? Damn,
It's
Amy.
like a velvety love seat that I will never touch.
No?
I don't think so.
I
There's
put
a
my
TV in here, maybe.
Just fling my naked body all over that
Oh, God.
COVID-infested velvet love seat. I need to
Can't do
feel
it.
something.
So I remember you in the backpack clutching. I can't take edibles at comedy festivals or really anywhere social because I'll lose my mind and get very unfun.
It was awful, and I think I embarrassed myself wholeheartedly, and I believe
Probably
I talked to.
fine.
Well, I remember talking to a bunch of people from Comedy Central, and I have never been booked by them. So I would imagine it has something to do with that.
No, probably not. It's funny that you say that because I don't remember them being there at all.
No?
At all. No. So it's all fine. They probably have all been fired by Viacom by now anyway because they fired so many of the best people. So I really wouldn't worry too much about it.
Yeah, no, I'm not losing sleep. I'm just slowly accepting. It's 2020, the year of acceptance. You know, you just
we have no future anymore. So
well, maybe you are in the Bay Area doing comedy. The future's bright, young Amy, and you have a great haircut. Is this a new haircut? It looks very nice.
Yeah, it's pretty new. Thank you.
You work
really
bangs
dirty.
very well. Well,
Thanks.
that makes hair smooth. So you're smooth as shit. Like actual feces. No, I'm joking. You don't look like poop. You look fantastic.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Are you nervous?
I am going. I know. I'm still starstruck. I'm going to the middle of nowhere tomorrow, and I just took a look at all the COVID rates around our area, and I started freaking out. So that's what happened right before.
You're just going for a little trip?
We're going for a little trip. Me and my boyfriend are going away for 10 days, and we're going into the middle of nowhere, but now we're just like freaking out. Should we even go? Are we spreading it? Should we get tested? Blah, 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 blah. All that stuff. So we might just get tested tomorrow. And then
yeah, there's no reason not to.
Exactly.
I get tested all the time. I'm addicted to it.
You're addicted to? You like the thingy up your nose?
I don't mind it. No, I just like knowing that I don't have it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that I'm not, and I go see my mom a lot, and she's old. And so I just like knowing I'm not giving it to anybody.
Yeah, that is nice.
Thank you.
And we're back on COVID.
I'm the best.
Okay. You are. You're a good person. You're lovely, and you're a good daughter. That's the most important. Okay, so this is a podcast about embarrassing drunk or inebriated stories. You said you don't have any. Are you just full of dignity and pride? What is this?
No, I mean, you've seen me fucked up and maybe even didn't notice. I think I do have some, and I was trying to think of some so I didn't bomb on this podcast because I can't ruin my great podcast guest reputation that I've built.
That's why you're booked, baby.
From the ground up.
You're booked.
And I think that I'm kind of square. So, I can toss them back. You've seen me toss them right back.
Yes.
One after the other.
You have fun. You have a fun time.
And I'm fun, but I just don't do anything too crazy. But I think in general, and then for drugs, and it's kind of the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, most drugs I've only done, I haven't even done that many drugs, I guess. I mean, okay, I've done cocaine the most number of times.
That's exciting.
And I just chit-chat. I'm not doing anything wild.
No?
And I've done mushrooms twice, and then, I smoke weed. That's pretty much it. But I think I'm just very controlling. Type A. Some people might say Capricorn personality.
Are you a Capricorn?
Oh, yeah.
Me too.
Time. Yeah.
Look at that.
So I don't lose control too often. When I do, it's probably more in one of two buckets. One, fighting, which I do miss.
Now, are we talking about physical fighting or verbal fighting?
If it gets there, a little bit of both. But fighting, it's always fighting for good. You know what I mean? I can get fucked up and decide someone's being wronged somewhere. It's like a social justice drunk, SJD, or crying, and those are the two things. I'm not I don't know, breaking into grocery stores or what. I'm not looting.
That's several of the stories on this podcast. You wouldn't believe how many people break into a Wegmans and just go to town.
And I'm sure there's some crazy things I've done, and I tried to come up with a couple, but I think also maybe I don't remember a lot of these things.
Oh, so you black out?
Because of the booze. I don't black out, but I think no, I'm very conscious all the time when everything's happening, but I think, I don't know, my memory's gotten fuzzy, maybe just because of age. But what was I gonna say? See, I already just I lost it. Oh, okay. So, like, this is a good example. I mean, when I, a few years ago when they were taking submissions for, like, this is not happening, it was, like, everybody's story is, like, sex or drugs, pretty much. And they didn't limit it to that, but, they were very nice working with me. I really wanted to do that show. I thought it was so cool looking and everything. But every story I sent them was, like, a story from me as a kid. And then finally they were like, oh, I guess we don't have people do that very often. Like, I don't think we've had anyone do, like, a story when they're a child. And I'm like, it's kind of, I think I'm just really boring. I guess I just don't have, like, any good, like, orgies at Burning Man stories. Like, but then, I don't know. But I do have fun. And being back in Oakland, I think, so a couple things. I started drinking pretty late. Yeah, well, because I was very Christian.
Oh, yes. I remember this about you now.
And so then some of the things that happened or the trouble that I got into were delayed because I drank late and I started driving late. I didn't get my license until I was 25.
What?
Yeah.
In California? That's insane.
Yeah, it was weird. I'm just a very anxious person, and
so it wasn't a religious thing that you couldn't drive.
No, it was just like every time my mom is like, we're very similar, and so it's like every time she tried to teach me, it was just so stressful because we were both so scared.
Yeah.
That I was like, I don't need to do this. So I just took the bus for like years. And so then once I started driving and I got a car and I was just starting to party, then I'm like living like a 17-year-old in the suburbs.
Yeah.
But I'm, 25 and in a city. So, like, I mean, definitely I did a lot of fucked up driving and for sure should have been jailed. But, lest anyone listening to this think white privilege is not real, I also kind of knew to some extent I could get away with a lot of it in Oakland because cops aren't fucking looking for me. And even the times I did get pulled over, like, there was one pullover where I did like the full like walk the line, like I was so hammered, and the dude just got a call for something more serious, like a shooting, and he was just like, well, you're lucky that someone just got shot because I gotta go.
And so he just let you go?
He just let me go. He said, like, pull your car around this corner and, like, find another way home and come get it tomorrow. And, like, that's, it's the most white privilege shit. But the only accident, theoretically, what's the statute of limitations on drunk driving crimes?
I think you're good. I think you have to, it's one of those where, like, you have to be caught. Oh, crimes? We might have to Google that. I don't know.
I mean, it's been, like, at least almost 15 years, so it's probably fine.
I mean, if rape is 10 years, then I think you're going to be fine.
I don't think I raped anybody. But I am a comedian, and we do that. So,
yeah.
Well, no, the only car, I'm a very good driver, very vigilant, very responsible. Now, I don't drive drunk anymore because I'm an adult. But the
now Uber's a thing, so who needs it,
The only accident I ever have been in, knock on wood, was during a period of time when I was not only drinking and driving a lot, but popping Oxycontin.
Amy!
Fulfilling all my white trash destiny.
Yeah, white trash glory. That's what that is.
And again, I feel like I'm saying all these ways I got so lucky, and then it's going to be bad. Something bad's going to happen to me. I'm going to get electrocuted on stage tonight.
No, you're not going to get electrocuted. You're coming clean. This is your bring it to Jesus moment. This is what you're doing. You're releasing all that stress.
Yeah.
And then I think nothing but good things are going to fill that energy that's been inside of you, holding it in. So.
I hope so. But my one big accident, I mean, I hit a parked car. And it was like a rainy night. I was very fucked up, obviously, and taking this sharp turn, and I hit a fully stationary vehicle. I was driving my friend home. Let's call him Nigel.
Okay.
Because he has a very British name, but it's not Nigel, but it's as British as that.
Okay.
And I was taking him home, and we were singing American Pie by Don McLean. And I swear to God, we're both singing at the top of our lungs, which is also funny because he's not American. He did not even have, a green card or anything at that time, which is comes into the story later. But we're just singing, and I'm so high, popping pills, and and then it was like, as we sang "This Will Be the Day That I Die," I slammed into a car. But because I was so numb, I just started laughing. And I couldn't stop laughing, and I thought it was so funny. I'm like, isn't that funny that right when we said die, I slammed into a car? And he was like, Amy, this is really bad. We got to get out of here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's like, I'm not a citizen. So, and by the way, Oakland PD is also not looking for British illegal citizens.
Nigel's okay.
I don't think that's who ICE is after.
Yeah.
And so and it was raining, and my car was totaled. It would not move forward. The other car was totaled, and he just ran. He just got out of the car, and he was like, I love you, but I have to go home. He ran like Kevin Hart. I don't know. Kevin Hart was in an accident on Mulholland Drive a couple years ago, and he just got out and ran away from the car.
I have never heard of that. I never heard that.
Yeah, it happened not too long ago. It's very hack, by the way, to crash on Mulholland. That's where everybody crashes. Just slow down. It's very windy. So Nigel just books it, and then I'm like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. Luckily, one lucky thing was there happened to be an open parking spot in this pretty busy part of town where there's not a lot of parking. Right in front of my car, so I could at least move it far enough to just park and be like, well, I might get a ticket or whatever, but it's totaled. Yeah. The other car is fucked up. Nigel's long gone. My friend Eleanor, that is her real name, she showed up with a plastic baggie to put a note in on the car. So we did all the right things. I was insured and everything. And the cops never showed up, thankfully, because I for sure would have been in so much trouble. Mm-hmm. And then they called me the next day, and they were like, you know what? We've been really wanting a new car.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they're like, we live by the train station on this sharp turn right by all the bars. It gets hit once a week, but nobody ever leaves a note. So they're like, this is great. You totaled it. You're admitting fault. You left a note. You have insurance. So we get a new car. This is awesome. We're just going to get the car we want and then buy a parking spot so we don't have to go through this again.
Oh,
they had me over for tea. I mean, it was couldn't have been a better experience, except that I lost my car and I was like, oh, I'm a fucking idiot, and it was very expensive. Mm-hmm.
But you weren't in jail, so that's good.
But I wasn't in jail, and to this day, that friend will not joke about it, and he won't listen to the song American Pie anymore.
I think Nigel's a little bitch for running away. That's what I think.
He's great.
No, he's a little
bit.
You tell him Caitlin said so.
Deported back to England.
Oh, what a horrible place to go. Oh, my God. No, you help your friend wheel the busted car into a vacant parking spot. That's what you do. Oh, boy. Well, that was extremely lucky of you, I feel like. I have a similar story. I was driving my friend's car. I did not think I was drunk, and then obviously I was. I was like, I got this. We're only going 2 blocks. This is fine. And then I'm driving. I pull into the parking space, and I go too fast, and I hit the pole in front of us, and I knock off the bumper. But we're all just like, that's so funny.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
hilarious.
I had to go to work the next day. I left early and I come outside and the bumper is full on the ground. Like it's just on the floor. And I was still drunk. So I was just like, it'll be fine. I'll just pay Kirsty. We'll get it fixed. It'll be okay. And then Kirsty had like a full day meltdown while I was at work about this bumper. She fixed it herself because she's very handy. And
That's good.
nothing. I owed her like the money for pins, I think it was. And I still can't believe she's my friend. She had me in her wedding. And that's insane to me because I almost ruined her entire car. And kicked us out of the apartment complex. It doesn't matter. But you get this false confidence, I feel like, when you're a little tipsy.
Well, when you practice a lot too. I mean, you can get good at drunk driving, but I think and again, I don't do it anymore, but I think you have to have those couple of scares though, so that you remember to stay like very serious while you're driving. You know what I mean? Because when you're young and reckless, you're like having a good time, listening to music, singing along. I mean, anybody who continues to drunk drive like into their early 30s is like 10 and 2. You know what I mean? Like blinkers all the time, speed limit or just under, you know.
Yes,
you're
young people, if you take away anything from this podcast, practice. All right, get your reps in and make sure you're a real pro.
And you know, I mean, I was also so dumb, or again, maybe just like steeped in privilege, that the time that I did walk the line, like I just told the cops the truth that we had been at the bar for several hours. Why would I do that?
Amy, you're just so honest. I think that's
I would never tell a cop the truth now.
You were raised white. Right. I said white.
Yeah.
And right.
Trash.
Well, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, you know, other than kind of driving stuff like that, I really don't know. I know there's many times that I have probably embarrassed myself. Maybe tweeted something I should not have.
I mean, we've been together when you've tweeted some stuff you should not have. And
do I regret it? No. Because was I wrong? No.
No.
It's just sort of more trouble than it's worth. You know what I mean? So now I put down the tweets if I'm...
And the Facebook.
Yep, I put it all down.
With the, when we were in Atlanta, the Facebook...
I don't regret that either. To this day, and fuck, he's a creep, and I will. What are we even doing anymore? Like, you know what I mean? What does he control? We don't have stand up. He's not a good person. He made it very clear he won't even give me an audition, but he also won't have a conversation about that night, during which nothing bad happened, by the way. We had a great time. We were yucking it up. He thought I was very funny. Yeah, that guy sucks. You know, what's so funny? I took this to the top, too. I had a conversation with Howie Mandel about it.
Wow.
And
that's the very top.
And by the way, you know, control all of Montreal, okay? Sure, he has a say, but I'll do that festival one day, I hope. I mean, how many people listen to this podcast?
Couple hundred.
But I'm like, you fucking coward. Like, last year he wouldn't just give me an audition, and I'm like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? I'm gonna crush, and then you'll still say no.
Yeah.
And it's fine. But yeah, Howie, I call him Howie. He was like, oh, have you ever done Montreal? And I was like, ha ha ha, no. Do you know anybody who can help me get in? It's a joke because he owns the festival now, for those listening. And then, you know, and then they kind of worked on it for me. Like, I was like, yeah, you know, I just had this weird conversation. I honestly also don't think he would book me anyway, whether or not I deserve it comedically, because I'm, you know, almost 40 and he doesn't want to have sex with me. and I'm a fat lady. Like, there's so many things, you know, but they were like, oh, we'll work on it. And they even were like, you know, you deserve a shot to at least audition for New Faces. And they worked on it, and he still said no.
Oh, wow.
To the owner of the fest. So it's like, whatever.
You'll get it there in a different aspect, I feel like.
Might regret some of those drunk post situations, like the day after, just because there's cleanup involved and because people act like fucking babies about it. But the fact is that when we were talking, nothing was wrong. Everything was fine. He was laughing. I was laughing. He's like, I can tell you're a great comic. Whatever. I said, you won't book me because you don't want to fuck me. And he said, that's true. Like, so this is the kind of man we're dealing with.
Amy,
you know, it was all fun. So I regret, like, the cleanup and having to deal with people's fucking feelings. But, you know, in the long run, what, I didn't get to do Skank Fest. And why were they mad? Because I literally made jokes about it. One of the jokes that you said.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure.
I tweeted anonymously.
Yeah. And, like, I think now time has passed and we have seen, you know, what direction that genre has gone in. And
yes, that whole crew.
Yeah.
I don't need to be involved with. And,
no.
you know, the people that fuck with me still fuck with me. So it's fine. But the bottom line was, like, I got drunk and tweeted a joke about a very creepy festival. And the same people who say we should all be able to make jokes were very upset about it.
Yes.
So,
yes,
like, it's fine. It's all fine.
It's all fine. It all works out. Time plus distance, remember? Or is it time?
I think time plus distance equals
comedy.
Healing. I'd say more of the, like, technology-based drunken blunders are just maybe, like, me being creepy or, you know, when I was single, which I haven't been for years. Yeah,
What'd
just
you
really
do?
really shooting my shot in people's DMs, you know what I mean?
Really?
But also, like, a lot of the time it works out, and then you just have sex.
Didn't you sleep with someone quasi-famous?
Oh,
who was it? Who did you tell me?
I've slept with a couple quasi-famouses. I mean, I guess that's kind of a drunk story. Very early, I was probably 20. I don't think I was 21 yet. I was in New York. I made a point. I think I had maybe just gotten out of a relationship. And, you know, I was very Christian teen. I'm, like, new to drinking, new to going out. I'd never... Like, the idea of, like, a one-night stand was, like, crazy to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to try it.
Yeah.
And again, I am very square. So I'm like, I've never had unprotected sex. I'm, you know, this is why I'm so freaked out about COVID. I'm, like, a safe person.
You've never, to this day, you've never had unprotected sex?
I really try not to. No, I mean, yes, I have unprotected sex when everything's in place. You know what I mean? Like birth control and whatever.
Okay.
And STD tests and pull-out method or whatever.
Look at you. You're doing what we were taught to do. That's so good.
Yeah, but I've never had an STD, and it's by, you know, through a lot of work on my own part.
Good for you.
But so I was like, I was like Emily in Paris, but Amy in New York. I was like, I just want to I was by myself. I just want to, like, meet a guy and, like, have a weekend or whatever.
Yeah.
And so of all the guys, it's so funny. I was in the Village and I was at the Red Lion. Do you know that place?
Oh, yeah.
And then they have live music and stuff. It's a really cool bar. And fucking Gavin DeGraw was playing piano, and I remember that he, of course, did Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen, as you are required to do probably in the Village if you have a piano.
Yes.
And you know, I was, I don't know, I was, like, feeling myself, and I was drunk, and I was just like, hey, I want to hang out or whatever. And oddly enough, this is how long ago it was. It was like literally the night before he was going to meet with Clive Davis to potentially get signed to Atlantic.
Wow.
It's Atlantic, right? Yeah. And so he was like, I can't hang out late and whatever. So we like hung out that night and then ended up meeting up again the next night, which was exactly what I wanted. I wanted this like weekend thing.
Little fling.
Yeah. And, it was fine. I mean, we had a good time. He was not very nice afterwards.
No? What
No.
the fuck, Gavin? What'd he do?
I know. He's a little bit of a poon hound. But, he dated Katherine Heigl for a long time, so we're Eskimo Swisters. Eskimo Squisters. I mean, I'm probably Eskimo Swisters with several celebs, because... he is a poon hound. He had a very nice penis. I assume, still has a very nice penis. It was large.
Good.
But
good for you, Gavin.
Even at this time, which must have been, 2002 or something, he was very bald. And
really?
I'm only revealing this big reveal because he wasn't very nice.
Yeah. What does he do now? Because I don't think of him as bald, so he must... What is it? Hair plugs? What's he doing?
He's just always wearing a hat, Caitlin. Google Gavin DeGraw, image search, hat. He's never without it. No plugs. He's just bald under there. And I need people to know he's bald and he has a huge bald penis. With a little hat on it, oddly. When I do it, there's always a hat on it.
Always a hat, baby. A full body hat.
But that and that because he sort of left us terrible phrasing, still gonna say it, sour taste in my mouth.
Oh no.
For that experience, because it was so fun, but then like he was just such an asshole after that I was like, ugh. Which is happens a lot with cowardly men and chubby women where they're like they are fully in it and then all of a sudden they're like, oh god, what if who's gonna find out? I mean, he wasn't famous at the time. He's hardly famous now. But so these are the 2 one-night stands I've ever had, like in my life, pretty much. The next year I was in New York again, and I was like, I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna try to meet someone who's at least got a vouch from a person I know, so I don't get murdered.
Yeah, that's
I
important.
still, like, put these little things in place. Even when I'm just drunk and horny, I'm like, this guy's not gonna kill me, right? So
smart.
I went to this bar it's just called the Dive Bar. And it's on the Upper West Side.
Okay.
And it's a great dive bar. I hope it's still there. Knock on wood. We're losing so many good places.
Yeah, I know.
And 2 lookers in there that I had my eye on. One was a very fit, hot man. I was chatting with him. I'll get back to him. The other guy was a man from The Wire, Sergeant Carter.
Wow.
Who's hot. Very hot. Still hot, probably. And he's a little bit of a troublemaker. I think that actor has had, like, several DUIs, which is funny because he lives in New York.
Yeah, where are you
going?
driving? Yeah. What are you doing? It's the easiest place to not get a DUI.
So I'm, like, separately, I remember, like, Sergeant Carter, I still don't know his name, would be, I just look it up.
No,
it might be,
don't.
Also
Sergeant Carter until he's dead, all right?
Also, his character name might be Carver and not Carter. Anyway.
I like Carter. That means
if you love The Wire,
to you.
You know who I'm talking about. He's great. Light-skinned dude, bald head, very handsome. Very great on that show. But he would, like, be outside and we would, like, smoke. I pretend to smoke sometimes if I'm horny. And then, because it's just a good conversation starter.
Oh, and you get him alone. Oh, yeah. That's great.
And then the other hot guy was like inside, and I was like, who should I? Because here's the thing, like when I'm in that mode, I am very direct. Whether it's like in DM or face to face, I'll straight up be like, "Do you want to get your dick sucked?" And not a lot of people say no. I'll tell you that.
No, I mean, I thought you were asking me, and I was like, yeah, sure, okay.
And like, I would suck your dick. And by the way, like, just for people who don't know me, I've been out of this game for a long time in a relationship for 6 years, so I'm not, you know.
Please don't DM her being like, you want a dick to suck?
Yeah. So, after, you know, then I kind of am like throwing it at both of them, seeing where we're gonna go. But then this woman shows up out of nowhere, and then Carver is like, oh, this is my girlfriend. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, she smelled something that was going on too, so I was immediately like, oh, don't want to have a conflict with a woman that I don't know. Not worth it. Go back to the original dude. His name's Jalen. Very nice man. Turns out he's a Baltimore Raven. Not a good Baltimore Raven. He was on a lot of teams. Traded around a lot. Played for the Browns for a while.
Haven't we all been traded around a lot?
I think played for the Saints for a while. Mostly rode the bench. But that ended up being like the best experience. Exactly what I was looking for with Gavin DeGraw, but didn't get because he was so rude after. This guy was fucking awesome. Like, we had a great time. We were safe. He had a nice apartment. We watched Car Wash. He made me a cocktail. He was very complimentary. He was great in bed. Called me a black car when the whole thing was over.
What does that mean?
Well, in the olden times. I mean, pre-Uber.
Oh, he called. I thought he was calling you a name, the black car. And I was like, what is that code for?
He's like,
are you a Cadillac, baby?
You're a black car, girl. No.
But I get it now. He called you a car service.
Yes, okay. A nice car service. He said, you know, obviously you're welcome to sleep over here. And I was like, what a nice offer that I did not get during my last one night stand in New York. But
Gavin kicked you out?
Oh, kicked me out. I think, like, he, like, waved a 20 at me or something and was like, I'll get your cab fare. But I was like, I would never take your money.
Good for you. He needs it now, that motherfucker. Clive Davis probably stole all his money. Good.
But it was so fun and perfect, and he was really sweet, and I think we exchanged texts for, like, maybe a couple months after that, and then that was pretty much it. And this is also, like, so much social media, so it's not like, I don't know what happens now. Now I imagine if you have a good experience like that, then, you know, you follow each other and maybe see what's going on every once in a while. I don't know. This is what I hear from my single friends. I'm 100 years old. But yeah, so the two, like, real one-night stands I ever had were Gavin DeGraw and this Baltimore Raven, and I feel like I was good after that. It was a wrap, you know?
You had both ends of the coin.
Yeah,
both
and then I
sides
haven't
of the coin.
really, like, slept with a stranger, you know, since then, which I have no judgments about. Like, get out there, you know?
Yeah.
Be
Live
safe.
your life.
I mean, not during a pandemic, but...
No. No, I wouldn't recommend that, no. I am hearing of people doing that, and I'm like, wow.
I know, dating sites and everything. It's crazy. I think that's, I mean, this is sort of like the three buckets of, like, if I'm fucked up, I'm either wildly confident. I guess they all sort of involve some confidence. Wildly confident and just putting it out there for men.
Yeah.
Used to be women sometimes, too, in my 20s.
Good for you. Live it up.
Or I'm very emotional and convinced that something is very serious and needs crying about. Or I want to fist fight people. And I try. And I miss the fighting.
You miss the fighting. Please tell me,
bit.
Do you remember a fight? Because I cannot imagine you fighting anybody. You used to be a teacher. Like
I mean, I do have like an under current of rage. But it is it's almost always when I feel like something is not fair or someone's being treated poorly.
Yeah.
I was talking to Sydney Washington the other day about I didn't end up going to blows, but almost got in a fist fight at the knitting factory with another white lady because she was disrespecting Sam J during Sam's set. And I was like, man, I miss just being at the knitting factory drunk and wanting to punch somebody. It's not why we have comedy shows, but it's just a side bonus.
Yeah.
Well, okay, this is a good example. So last year I was at this bar called Mickey's in West Hollywood, which is where a lot of like the drag race queens.
Did you take me
Esquimaux Swisters. I don't think we went to Mickey's. But, like, they have go-go dancers and drag sometimes, and it's just, like, a popular bar there. I was there with Arlo Warehouser and Solomon Giorgio. And there is this man. There's probably a handful of men, but one that I have clocked in West Hollywood who is a straight man, who is a creep, who bar hops in West Hollywood looking for fucked up young straight women who are feeling kind of safe because they're in a gay bar, dancing, and tries to take them home. After aggressively, essentially fucking humping them on the dance floor. And I saw this dude one time, and I was in it's a weird position, like, he's a black dude, I'm a white lady, I'm like, okay, I have to always be kind of aware of this part of the dynamic too, but I'm pretty sure, like, the first time I was like, I'm pretty sure that girl is A, blacked out, and B, doesn't know him. Mm-hmm. So, and in general, I try to check in with young women in that situation, always, anyway, because I've been there, we've all been there, this is how assaults happen.
Yeah.
So, when he wasn't around, I was like, to this girl, like, hey, just want to make sure you're okay. And she's like, I don't know where I am, and I don't know that guy, and I don't know what's happening. And I was like, okay, that's the information I needed. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So then I, like, go up to this guy, and I'm like, hey, that girl's really fucked up, so if you could just leave her alone, that would be great. And then he fucking gets an attitude with me. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to keep an eye on you, and we are now mortal enemies, and I will destroy you. I tell security and whatever, and then, like, we get the girl a cab home or something. Mm-hmm. And then the next time I'm at Mickey's, he's fucking there again, doing the same shit. And it is a girl who can barely stand on the dance floor. I see him walk up. I see the whole thing happen because I'm watching him. And I've also told the bartenders, like, there's a situation. One of the bartenders at Mickey's is straight up like, oh, yeah, he always does that here. But he kind of knows the owner, so, like, we can't ever permanently kick him out. But he also hops, like, because there's, like, 3 bars that are always full in the before times. And this is his whole thing. He just trolls for, like, blacked out girls, and I mean, he's a fucking rapist, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so, like, they were like, yeah, we hate it, we can't kick him out. I got the feeling that it was like, I don't know what his relationship to maybe he's a drug dealer or something, you know what I mean? Maybe he fucking sells coke to the security guy. Like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But they didn't want to kick him out. So I have no other choice but to say I'm going to beat this full-grown man's ass. And you know who will help in that situation? Drunk drag queens. Okay? And it was very tricky to navigate. And, and Solomon's there the second time too. And I'm like, Saul, like, I know it looks really bad. I'm like, before we said Karening, but it really feels like I'm Karening. But I'm telling you, like, I've been watching this dude on several different occasions for weeks. And maybe I'm obsessing, but, like, these girls are, like, they don't know where they are. Mm-hmm. And I see who he's targeting, and I see him take these girls out and try to get them into a cab. You know what I mean? And so we round up a couple drag queens, and then, like, I'm like, I'm going to beat his ass. And they're like, you actually can't beat his ass. You will die. So we'll come out, and we'll help you, and we'll get rid of this guy. And then,
oh, my God.
And it's always a situation like that where I'm like, someone's being hurt or someone's gonna be hurt, and it is my job to deal with it. And it is not my job, but isn't it? I think it's all of our jobs.
It's everybody's job. It's it takes a village to keep the blacked out girl safe, you know?
Yes, the village people.
The village people. I feel like you just described a pilot you should write, which is just vigilante drag queens saving women and just because they're already in a mask, you know what I mean? Their identity is protected, and they would just go out and they beat the shit out of wrongdoers. I think, Amy, FX would want this. Okay, you get on it, all right?
Drunken savior queens.
Oh, beautiful!
And their weird white lady friend who looks like a mom and shouldn't be there at all. Yeah. You know,
you're the Charlie of Charlie's Angels. I feel like.
My last adventure like that was not that. It was one of the last comedy festivals I ever did in Chico, of all places, which is like a terrible college town in California.
Oh yeah.
That I found a girl in the dirt, fully laying on the ground, and then saw a guy, like, approach her, start talking to her, and I was like, do you know this girl? What's going on? Mm-hmm. And he's like, kind of, and she can't even speak pretty much. All the other comics deserted me. They were like, oh, Amy's on a project, one of her projects. Which is just, like, fucking doing the right thing. But I'm also hammered, so they're like, well, she'll be fine. No concern for my safety, by the way. Like, at any point, no one's ever like, Amy's fucked up, she's in danger. It's always like, oh, she's gonna go save somebody. So I Ubered this girl home just by looking in her wallet at her address. It was very far. It was like $60. She was throwing up in the Uber. The driver was mad, but we got her a bag. I told him what was going on. I'm like, I feel like she was going to be, he was very nice. I'm like, I feel like this girl was going to be assaulted. She was in the dirt. Her underwear were showing. This kid was approaching. Like, she didn't know where she was or what she took. Yeah. I really think someone had roofied her. Anyway, I get her all the way home. The driver's very nice. He helps me carry her up. And I'm also telling her, like, hey, I'm going to tip you really well, but this is the... Oh, my God. I forgot about this. This is the balance of the Amy Miller vigilantism. Is that I'm like, I'm going to give you a really good tip. It's going to be from her wallet. Like, I took her cash to pay this man, which I think is
so
fine.
Fair. Oh, that's totally fine. Oh my God. I think she's like, yeah, take the $50, please.
But so she's a college student, and the address on her license is a little bit out of town. It's like a half an hour Uber ride. And the whole time, she's like screaming at me. She's insulting me, and then puking, and then sleeping, and then like just being sassy. I mean, I should have straight up smacked her because I saved her from rapes. Yeah. And then I get there, and someone comes to answer the door, and it's her mom, who's also currently hammered, and is like, oh, you brought her here because this is the address on her license. And I'm like, yeah, does she not live here? And she's like, no, she lives in on-campus housing or whatever. And I'm like, well, she's your problem tonight.
Yeah.
Mom's drunk. She's, like, annoyed that she's there. No one's grateful to me except for the Uber driver who thinks I'm, like, a saint. And I'm like, you're a saint. And we're splitting her money. And then her fucking drunk mom, like, helps her stumble into her room or whatever. And then she goes, by the way, since she's been out partying all night, her dog is here. She's like, I've been watching her dog. Can you take it out for a walk? And I was like, no! I'm not walking. And I thought about doing it. That's what's really sick. I felt bad for the dog. He probably has to shit. Well,
yes, you have empathy. And this woman's not taking care of this sweet, sweet pooch who doesn't even know what's going on. He just sees, oh, my humans are doing Twister. They're just dancing. That's fun.
Such a mess.
God.
So this guy drives me all the way back into town. I do give him all of her money.
Very nice.
Never told her about that. She remembered none of it.
Really?
She had a really crazy name, and I wrote it down. I found her on Facebook, and I messaged her to say, like, hey, just want to make sure everything's okay. And she was like, who are you?
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And then she was very grateful, like, when she started, I mean, she was probably out for 2 days. She didn't even respond for so long.
Yeah.
And she was very grateful. And she was like, I literally could have been dead. But, like, I'm like, you were really yelling at me in the Uber, saying a lot of mean stuff in between. I mean, that's, like, this is so sad. My drunkenness is either very boring, like I drink like an old man sitting at the bar reading a book, or I try to save people or fuck. That's it.
Those are all good things. Those are all great things. Okay.
Not the driving around drunk part.
Oh, no. We didn't put that in the 3. Yeah.
Not the fighting. But yeah,
No.
those things are fine.
Only fighting when it's saving someone, though. So.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Well,
I think you're a drunk vigilante. I think that's what you are. You're a mask drunk for good. I like that about you.
it's just, but then, I mean, these things shouldn't be. The Chico story, since it was last year, I was like, literally, I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah.
Why am I walking around these streets?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I was supposed to be here to help that girl. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not fucking Clark Kent.
No. They need more people like you at Chico, because I feel like that college needs a lot of drunk Amy Millers. All right.
I need to be at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Smoking weed and never drinking again.
Yeah. Well,
Which is what I've been doing lately, pretty
well,
much.
that's great. As long as it makes Amy feel good. Does Amy feel good?
I feel okay.
Well, Amy, we did it. We did a full hour.
It really flew by.
You're incredible.
I hope I didn't talk too much.
You did a wonderful job. This was thrilling. For someone who doesn't have any stories, you had a few good ones there, but a few humdingers, I would say.
I'm an idiot, Caitlin.
No, you're a beautiful idiot, and I wouldn't change a thing about you. Where can people find you? What do you want to plug? Anything at all?
Just follow me on Instagram, Amy Miller Comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I have some stand-up clips there.
Hell
now.
yeah.
Started
Amy's
putting
very
them up.
funny. She's very
Thanks.
funny. You're going to love hearing it and watching it now that they're clips. Oh, boy. Still tired. But you're going to do great tonight at the
Thanks.
Comedy Club. It's going to
Their
be great.
first show's at 6 p.m. Isn't that sick?
Well, I mean, everybody's got to go to bed. I think there's a curfew at 10. In New York,
Ugh.
there's a curfew at 10.
That might be what it is. Oh, yeah, you're right. They have to close at 10. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're doing comedy outside at 6 now in the rain.
Perfect. And no one could handle it better than you, Amy. All
And
right?
yes, I will sell merch.
Yes, you will. Oh, my God. Do you think I wasn't slinging stickers at the Comedy Attic for 15 people? Absolutely.
Just picking up fresh germs for $5. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Smart.
Yeah. A couple gave me $100 after my first set, and it was a terrible set. I did very bad, but they gave me $100, and I was like, oh, this is pity for sure. This is.
Oh, that's so nice.
I mean, I hope there's a spot for them in heaven for sure. And
Yeah.
I did crowd work on them. I think I saved their marriage. I'm not 100% positive, but there's a good chance that they had sex that night for the first time in years.
I think
okay?
it's true. I think it's true.
I told him, I was like, you need to make sure you tell her she's beautiful every day because look at those legs. And he was like, she does have nice legs. And I was like, yeah, fuck in front of me. Like, it was good. I think it was good. And then I got $100 and I was like, earned it, Beautiful.
You did earn it.
Thank you. I think
I mean, they
did.
couldn't pay rent that month. 'Cause
No. Although they looked very well dressed. I think they're fine.
Yeah, they're fine. They're fine.
Well, Amy, this was so much fun. Thank you for
It was
doing
great
it.
to see you and talk at you for
How
so
was it?
long.
We talked together, all right?
Okay,
And
good.
I wish you nothing but more stability, I guess. I have no idea.
What a weird thing to say to a good friend. Someone you know.
I hope you figure things out there, huh?
You're not going to get a job at Hallmark anytime soon. I know that. I wish you more stability.
I wish you more stability. I just wish you nothing but money and health insurance. That's what I wish you.
Oh, that does sound nice.
Yeah, one day. Well,
I love you so much.
I love you too.
Didn't do a good time.